Ahoy there, cruise nerds, and welcome back aboard to my channel, DCL Cruise Nerd. My name is Megan, and I am your host. Today, I will be going over the test voyage, protocols, new procedures, and my final review. But before then, I just want to make one quick announcement in the Cruise Nerd Corner. So let's go ahead and dive right on in. Alright, cruise nerds. Well, obviously we're back on land for a couple of days. I only have 2 days left until my next voyage. So after this next cruise, I will be doing a comparison video, kind of like this final review that I'm doing. But it's going to be a comparison between the test voyage and this one. Now, if there is something that you did not see or I did not go over, or something that just did not make sense, please let me know. And I can definitely do that in this next cruise, this coming up Friday, August 13th. And so if there's something, definitely comment down below and I will make sure to cover it, or I will definitely get back to you in a fast reply. So just a heads up there. So yesterday, Monday, August 9th, was the first official day that the Disney Dream had paying passengers on board, and I will just have to say one more time, congratulations to the crew of the Disney Dream. You did it, you made it, and you did an awesome job on the test voyage. And to all of the cruisers that are currently on the ship, once you see this, I do hope that you enjoyed yourselves while on board this historic cruise during this pandemic. So that is actually all of what I wanted to mention in the Cruise Nerd Corner. So let's go ahead and sail away into the final review. Alright, cruise nerds, so let's go ahead and talk about some of the protocols, new procedures, and my final review. So this is just going to be a recap of everything that has changed for Disney Cruise Line and what my thoughts are for this test voyage. So let's go ahead and get started with the Safe Passage website. So the safepassage.com, so it's dcl.safepassage.com. You're actually going to get this in an email, a know before you go email from Disney Cruise Line. I would say roughly around 45 days prior to your sail date, or possibly even earlier than that. But that's when I got mine. And you basically make an account 33 days prior to your sail date, and you put your reservation in with your info and for your cruise coming up. Now, if you have any minors in your family that is in your reservation, they can go onto your account, because the accounts will have to be made by an adult. But the minors can be on your account, which it was really easy to use on this website. And with myself having multiple reservations, it was easy to put all the reservations on your account. Now, there are notifications on the website, so if someone has not yet made their account or has not approved anything for themselves, definitely make sure that is all clear to go. Now, there are two options that you can do. One is to do the PCR test, and that is for anyone who is unvaccinated or do not want to share their vaccination cards. Now, the other option is, of course, put your vaccinations in, which I did, and it sends you an email saying that it takes 2 to 3 days. It actually took about a day or two, which was really awesome. And you get emails from Safe Passage once your account is complete and once you're clear to set sail, and then you also get an email or two, several emails from Safe Passage once everyone in your stateroom is clear to go, when they make an account, so on and so forth. So just be aware of that. The Safe Passage team, they were amazing. I had an issue with one of my reservations. It just disappeared completely, even though I put my vaccinations in. But they said, I sent the email with my reservation number, the sail date, everything, saying, hey, this is the issue. And then, not even 3 minutes later, I get an email response back saying, no problem, we'll take care of it. And they said also to check a day or two later just to make sure everything is clear. And if not, email them back. They had the quickest response. But I have to say, Safe Passage team was on top of it. They were amazing. I have nothing but awesome feedback about the Safe Passage website and the team behind the scenes. So that is my review on that. Alright, so the embarkation and online check-in process. Both of them were really easy once you get in a routine. Now, when you do the online check-in, make sure you have a government-issued ID photo, and also a selfie with a PDF, in a PDF or JPEG. Now, I did do a full-on, just by itself online check-in video, so definitely check that out. But I'm just going over something really, really quick. Now, when you're doing your government-issued ID, make sure you triple check and quadruple check. Because this was something that was a user error, meaning me, had it put something in incorrectly on the online check-in process. I learned, now I know for next time to make sure that everything is complete and is A-okay. Now, what I mean by this is make sure that the numbers are correct, make sure the name is also all set to go. So just make sure everything matches that particular government-issued ID that you're using. Passport, driver's license, birth certificate, the whole 9 yards. Make sure everything is correct. But other than that, it was an easy process for the online check-in. Now, when you get to embarkation day, so this is the day you get on the ship. So at midnight, going into that day you board, you're going to see the health questionnaire pop up on your reservation. Now, it is 5 simple questions, and it's basically a yes or no questionnaire. And once you hit submit, it will go ahead and be part of your QR code that you will show at the terminal. And that was actually pretty easy, and only one person in your stateroom needs to do this health questionnaire. But if you have multiple staterooms, at least one person in each stateroom needs to do this. The QR code for us, it was a little glitchy once we got there, but of course it was no one's fault because this is a new procedure that they're doing. So once you go and drop off your luggage with the porters, and there's going to be a Disney cast member, Disney Cruise Line cast member, that will come over and check your port arrival time. And they're going to make sure that you are at the port arrival time. We did have the port arrival form printed, so they just scanned that, and that was a little bit easier. So definitely have both, just in case one doesn't work over the other. But it was easy, it was real quick, and then they allowed us to go to the parking garage. Now, when we got there, we had to go ahead and pay for parking. Now, for a 3-day cruise, it is $68. And you go ahead and pay that with a credit or a debit card. And you are good to go. Now, once you go in, there's going to be cones where you have to follow, so it's easy to go through. There's 2 different sides. One side where you have to get tested for COVID-19 if you opted out of showing your vaccine or you are unvaccinated. And then there's the other route for the vaccinated guests who volunteered their vaccination cards. And we went ahead and went through everything. They put like a blue little tag on our windshield, and one other thing to let the other cast members know that we are vaccinated and we're good to go to the next step. And I will show you more in depth on this next cruise of how that works. But it was a smooth process. They scanned our barcode again, and we were all set to go. And they made sure that everybody was in the car. And then we parked on level 3, went over the bridge, and went into the terminal. Now, before we went through, there was one section, it was kind of like the TSA before you go through the security check. They check your ID, or government-issued ID, I should say, and they ask you to pull down your mask and make sure it is you. And then once everything looks good to go, you're ready to make your way up to the terminal area. Now, once you go up there, they're going to ask one or two of your party to go over to the desk to get a piece of paper, and it's going to have a QR code. Now, this is something different, and instead of getting the Key of the World cards, which is going to be at your stateroom. So, my overall experience with both online check-in and this process in the terminal, phenomenal. And it was flawless. Disney Cruise Line did an amazing job directing us where to go and make sure we were all set. Now, onboard experiences. Now, it did feel a little quiet. But, of course, we're not used to being at low capacity on the ship. We're so used to seeing so many guests on board along with ourselves. But that was okay, especially to begin with. You know, this is a new experience for everyone, especially Disney Cruise Line. So, I felt really comfortable with the number of people on board. I hardly saw anybody with the exception of the shows and dinner. That was the only time I saw a lot of people in one place. Masks, I felt comfortable with as well, because I'm already used to those over in the parks. Masks have to be worn indoors at all times, except in your stateroom, or when you are at dining and you are eating while stationary. Those are the only times that you can have your mask off while you're indoors. So, speaking of your stateroom, for your stateroom, the only time the cast member or crew member for the stateroom host or hostess can come into your stateroom is when you're out and about and having fun with your family. They'll come in the morning, make your beds and everything, make sure everything is A-okay. And then the only other time they come in is at turn-down service. Now, another thing revolving around the stateroom is room service. Room service was actually different, in a good way, of course. Now, they come by with the things that you ordered, like Mickey ice cream bars. Yeah, I probably ordered a few. I enjoyed it. This next cruise, I'll try to video that. Now, they bring your food on a trolley, and they have it set to go for a tray. And once they get there, it's similar to how they had before, but they're just going to point, okay, this is your Mickey ice cream bars, this is your chicken nuggets, your tenders, chicken tenders, so on and so forth, whatever you ordered off the menu. And then you are free to go ahead and grab that, and make sure you have your mask on. I forgot to mention that. Make sure you have your mask on. The crew member is going to be about 6 feet apart from you, and then you just go ahead and go your merry way. Now, tipping. I did ask room service cast about this. For tipping, you can do one of two things. You can give them cash, like you normally would, or and that's up to your discretion, or you can add gratuity through the app. Now, I would say it took about 30-45 minutes for us to see this. There's going to be a notification that will come up, say, here's your receipt for your room service. And it will have the option to add gratuity up to your discretion, and then you'll just submit that, and you're good to go. But that was an easy process, amazing experience, and there was no stress about it. Kids Clubs was available. Now, this is another thing I did not get a chance to do, but I will do that on this next voyage. I already had a request for that, so I will do more about the Kids Club on this next voyage. But the nursery was not available. The character experiences. There were plenty of character experiences throughout the ship, all around the deck, all around the ship. Now, a lot of the character experiences did take place in the atrium or the Buena Vista Theater. And this was pretty awesome. You know, you get to have selfies with them, you can take pictures of them, you can even talk to them like you normally would. And it was just amazing to see all the characters out and about in that magical moment. Walt Disney Theater and Buena Vista Theater. Now, I was at first a little, I wouldn't say worried, and I was never worried on this cruise. I was just a little lost because I always am so used to being filled in this particular show or movie, depending on what the movie is. And once you got into the theater, there's going to be cast members that will be seating you every other row, starting in the very front. And that was just a different experience, but it was a good one because they can make sure that you are socially distanced, about 2 or 3 chairs in between each party. And that was awesome how they were doing that. And everyone complied with it, everyone understood, and it was an easy process. And then at the end of the show, they came in and asked row by row to go ahead and leave the theater. So they did that row by row. So social distancing was taking place there. Also for dining felt a little different, but it was not because it was not good or bad or anything. It was an amazing experience. But once again, they had the tables socially distanced, and there was a family every other table. Now, if you have a large party, they will try to accommodate you at the one table or near your other party. So that's definitely something to take into consideration. But it felt comfortable in there, and it was a nice experience every night and every morning whenever we went to breakfast or lunch. Also, in cabanas, they do your food for you. Now, I did do this in another video to kind of show you how they did that procedure. But they get the food that you want on your plate and then pass it on to the next cast member until you're done. Then that is when they will hand you the plate. So once you finish ordering whatever you want, they'll give you the plate and you can go enjoy your breakfast. The other experience that was new and or different was the elevators. So you could have 2 individuals on the elevator or your party. So if yourself and one other person from another party, that would be 2 individuals, or your entire party in the elevator. So that is something that they did differently for the elevators while on the ship. Disembarking the ship both at Castaway Cay and at Port Canaveral was a very easy process. Now, we did have 2 days at Castaway Cay, so I experienced both without and with the virtual queue. Now, for the virtual queue, it will start either at 7:30 or 8:30, depending on the day, because it was 2 different times on each day. And then you just join the queue, and when it is your turn, it's going to give you a window to come and disembark the ship with your family. And everyone has to be together on this particular disembarkation. And then once you're off the ship, you can go and enjoy the island, go enjoy a little beach time, your port adventures, so on and so forth. Now, if you decide to go off later in the day, you can definitely do that as well. And you don't, at that point, you don't have to worry about joining the virtual queue. And you can check in the app whenever the virtual queue is done, and then at that point you can go ahead and disembark at your leisure. And it was an easy process both times. And I would say, I hope this is one thing that they do keep, at least for a while, because it was definitely an easy procedure to do. And then for disembarkation for Port Canaveral. Port Canaveral was also an easy process as well. They still have the express walk-off, so if you want to do that, you can still do that. And then they also have dining locations still open, so if you want to go to the dining location that you dined before, go at the time that you are scheduled. And then they also have cabanas open as well, so if you don't want to go to the dining room, you can go to cabanas. Now, for Port Canaveral, they will make an announcement of when you can disembark, and they will do it by the luggage tag. And I actually like this. My mom and I actually experienced this once before down in Miami, I think when they first started doing out of Miami. But it was an awesome experience now, and that will give less stress and less and more breathing room in customs area. And you can go get your luggage, get a porter if you want to get a porter, and then go through customs, and you are on your way heading back home. Now, one other thing I want to talk about, and that is Disney's private of Castaway Cay. And this was also an awesome experience. It was just like before. The only difference is that you have to wear a mask at certain locations. And certain locations are in the restroom, when you're riding the tram, when you are shopping in the stores, as well as in the pavilions at the dining locations, as well as getting your food. That's the only time you have to wear your mask. Other than that, you can have your mask off and enjoy the island as usual. And I will say it was just amazing to be back on the island. It felt like nothing has changed. And the island was just beautiful as always. And I cannot say enough amazing things about the island. So my final review is this. It was an amazing experience. It was a different experience for sure. And I would be lying if I said otherwise. But overall, from the ship to the terminal to Disney's private island of Castaway Cay to the disembarkation through customs, it was overall 100% an amazing experience. It was amazing to be back on the ship. I was so happy to get cruising again, and I will continue to go with Disney Cruise Line. They went above and beyond, cast and crew on the ships, to make sure we were having an amazing time, and also making sure not only the crew were safe, but also guests were safe as well. Alright, cruise nerds, thanks for watching. If you have not done so, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below. It would be greatly appreciated. As well as follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and also Twitter for more breaking news and updates. I hope everyone has a great day out there. Stay safe, and I'll see you real soon on board.